We are now ready to complete the income statement and the balance sheet. Again, we do this in pencil and we do all our figuring right here on this worksheet so that if we have any mistakes, we can correct it now before we make the formal documents. I am going to go line by line, so either an account will go on the income statement or the balance sheet. So let's review. Assets, liabilities, and owner's equity goes on the balance sheet. Revenue and expenses go on the income statement. So this is what we're going to complete now. Go get your worksheet and let's complete it together. All right, so I'm looking at the first line, which is cash. Cash is an asset, so it will go on the income statement. I'm going to have to move this over a little bit. Cash is debited in the adjusted trial balance, so it will be debited on the balance sheet. Accounts receivable is an asset. It will go on the balance sheet. Has a debit of $4. I'm going to transfer $4 over to the balance sheet. Prepaid insurance also is an asset. Adjusted trial balance, debit $2, $2 on the balance sheet. Plumbing supplies, an asset. Adjusted trial balance is $1, $1 on the balance sheet. Plumbing equipment, adjusted trial balance $7, $7 on the balance sheet. Accumulated depreciation is that contra asset account. It is still an asset, will go on the balance sheet, but it has a credit balance of $6. Accounts payable, credited $1 on the adjusted trial balance. J. Frost Capital, $12 credit balance on the balance sheet. Then I have withdrawals. Withdrawals is usually not on the formal balance sheet, but you will notice that we do not have a statement of owner's equity when we figure the new owner's equity amount. So for right now, we put it on the balance sheet so that it will work out on the totals of the balance sheet. So I'm looking at adjusted trial balance debit of $3. Then I have plumbing fees, which is a revenue account. That now will go on the income statement. $27 credited. I start seeing the expenses. All expenses go on the income statement, so I just start listing their debit balances. Rent expenses $4, salary expenses is a debit balance of $7. I drop down to insurance expense, which is $3. I then do plumbing supplies expense, $2 debit balance. Depreciation expense, plumbing equipment, $1. And then I have salaries payable. Salaries payable is a liability account. That will go on the balance sheet on the credit side. Now, we are going to add the debit and credits up for each one of these columns. I'm first going to start with the income statement. I'm going to add the debit column. The total is $17. I bring down the credit amount of $27. You will notice that they do not equal. That is okay at this time. I'm now doing the debit of the balance sheet. I add it up. $31. I add up the credit side. $21. These also do not equal. What we have not done yet is figure the net profit or net income, and also we haven't done the statement of owner's equity and adjusted the capital account. So let's find the difference. 17 from 27 is $10. These two then added together would equal the 27. We need to see if $10 is the difference on the balance sheet. 31 minus 21, yes, $10. Now we know they are balancing out. So If revenue is larger than expenses, we have net income. This is a $10 net income. The net income is always added to capital. Capital has a credit balance, so it will be added on the credit side. I will then draw a single ruled line to show an order an operation is going to be done. Here I'm adding. Now the income statement balances. And now the balance sheet balances. So I can draw a double ruled line across all 4 columns. And over here to the left, on the same line as the $10, I'm going to write net income. If the expenses would be larger than the net income, we would have a net loss. All right, we have completed all 8 columns of the worksheet. We've done the trial balance, we've done the adjustment columns, adjusted trial balance, income statement, and balance sheet. Since the 4 columns of income statement and the balance sheet worked out correctly, we can now go and do the formal income statement, statement of owner's equity, and balance sheet. If those 4 columns, when I subtracted, did not come up with the same difference, that tells me I've made a mistake on the income statement or in the balance sheet. The first thing I would do is go back and double check that I have put the balances on the right side. Maybe you put a debit balance on the credit side or a credit balance on the debit side. Go backtrack and find your errors. Once you find your errors, re-add the 4 columns and subtract, and if your difference is the same amount, you've found the mistake and they are now going to balance.